Hi, everybody. He's upset. Hi, I'm Big Papa Grump.
I'm Junior.
We're from the Board of Doom, and that was Backlash. And we now live in a world where not only did Jinder Mahal get a pinfall victory over AJ Styles, he's the WWE World Champion. Yeah, we're letting that sink in for a minute.
It's not blue.
Real quick, I'm going to update the standings a little bit. I'm not going to run down everything. That'll be at the end of the video. But the Wife of Doom is currently in the lead with 11 points. And so that's that. I had a nice bounce back. Not quite there yet, but we'll see. So let's run them down. Let's talk about the thing that everybody is going to be talking about. Jinder Mahal is the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. You know, a couple of guys brought it up on Twitter because we were actively tweeting, and probably more so than usual, that, you know, everybody complains WWE doesn't do anything different. You know, that was one of the complaints about it going in, was that, you know, hey, Jinder Mahal being the #1 contender, you guys want somebody new to get a shot, but then you're going to complain it's Jinder. And then, you know, they put the belt on him. So, I mean, I'm not sure if he's going to be a transitional champion, if it's going to be AJ that takes it off him, or heaven forbid they give Baron Corbin a shot at him or something. But yeah, I honestly thought Randy was going to hold on to it and wait for Rusev or Styles or something.
No, I really don't have anything to add.
You don't have anything to add to that one.
I actually don't. You can add that part. I really don't.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a solid match. It started off slow. It was kind of nice pacing. I was waiting for a headlock out of Randy Orton. I had a tweet waiting to go, ... headlock, but no. And
yeah, they had really good synergy. Like, it looked like they've been working together for a while, which they might have been, but it wasn't anything crazy.
It started out a little slow, but it picked up, and it was not nearly as bad a match as I think everybody thought it was going to be. And the result, it was a surprise. I mean, I think I just tweeted out, wow. That was all I had.
Jinder has talent, and people didn't realize that because he kind of was buried with, like, 3MB and all that after he came up, so. That'll bring us to the United States Championship match, which was Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles. I kind of didn't like the ending, but it makes sense because he pointed out that it makes them look, or it keeps everybody strong and, like, doesn't hurt AJ because he didn't lose clean or anything, but it was like a 4.5-star match. It would have been 5 if they actually had a better ending, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was a very good match. They you know, peaked and valleyed, so it was kind of cool. They were building towards a big finish, and then they just clipped it right at the end. It was actually, for me, it was good. If you're continuing the feud, it was good storytelling because you had, you know, AJ didn't eat a pinfall. Kevin Owens it wasn't like one of those like cheeky little super cheating to win. He just took advantage of a mistake AJ made, and plus working the knee, you know, that leg was already hurt, and so yeah, and they had pretty decent in-ring chemistry. It was a nice bounce back for Kevin Owens after a couple of disappointing matches against Jericho that didn't quite live up to the hype as much as we wanted it to. I'm not saying they were bad matches at all, but this one was way better than I thought it was going to be. Or, I mean, not so much better than I thought it was going to be, but it lived up. Because Kevin's been kind of in some of his matches, but now he showed he was way more intense. That brings us to the 6-woman tag match between the Welcoming Committee and, what was it, like, Team Queen Fire Glow, yeah, whatever it was. And everybody's just going to be talking about Becky Lynch's hair. That's it. And it's a shame because it actually was kind of an entertaining match. You know, everybody kind of got their bits in. Natalya with the getting the tap out on Becky Lynch. So, and I'm still calling a Becky Lynch heel turn. Like, this is going to build up, and she's going to turn heel.
Up next was the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championship between the Usos and Breezango, or it was Fandango and Grandma Breeze, Janitor Breeze. whatever the heck he wanted to. And then finally Tyler Breeze actually got some time in the match. But it was entertaining.
That was actually a fun match. Like, it wasn't match of the night or anything, but it was a lot of fun. And actually, one of the things that, to me, what it showed is just how far the Usos have fallen in, you know, they're heels, but, you know, they're almost like without an identity, because, you know, before their whole thing was wrapped up in the intro and the Uso and all that stuff, and you say ooh, we say oh, nah. But now they just kind of come out and they're bland, and the Breezango really brought out the fun for this match, and it was, you know, the bit with the mop and all the disguises and all that. That was just fun. It was, again, them doing comedy well, and it didn't come across like it was just some big joke, and so that was kind of neat. And you know, the Usos won, and they retained because I think they're placeholding for somebody else. I don't know. I mean, it's probably the New Day. Yeah, they're probably just holding on to it for the New Day, and they're going to be coming back soon.
It'll be DIY. Oh.
Yeah, it won't be DIY. Yeah, I floated that idea out during the preview for TakeOver. No, I guess that's not happening.
To add with the Usos' blandness, they got kind of angry because they weren't being respected. They're kind of the champions now, so that angle doesn't work.
Yeah.
So they don't have anything.
Yeah, it is kind of a shame because they're talented guys. It's just that I think at the time the heel turn was the best move for them, but then they haven't like lived up to the potential, or at least they haven't been given the opportunity to live up to the potential of the heel turn. So, then you get the filler match between the two title matches, which was Luke Harper versus Eric Rowan. Fight forever, because we're not going to have you wrestle anybody else. You know, it was actually a solid match. I mean, the ending was kind of gay, but
kept getting possessed by this mask and kept taking super kicks.
You know the bit with Eric Rowan walking around the pre-show with the different, he shows up, then leaves, and comes out with a mask, and then all that was kind of amusing, and it actually showed more character than Eric Rowan's shown in a while. But yeah, I still think the big mistake was separating them breaking up the Wyatt family at all. I mean, if you're going to put them on separate shows, but like have them still communicate somehow, you know, that would have been cool. But, you know, I mean, they're both really good in the ring. Obviously, Luke Harper for me is, and we talk about it all the time to ourselves, that Luke Harper's underrated. He almost gets the shot he deserves. Eric Rowan's getting better. And, you know, those guys, they put in a decent effort. They put in a really good effort. The crowd was dead. And, you know, it's just the fact that they're constantly wrestling each other takes away from it. But it was a solid match, definitely. But again, it didn't light anything up.
Rowan's next feud should be Elias Sampson. They could just drift onto pre-shows before they wrestle.
They never wrestle each other. They just invade each other's shows, just walking around. And Harper's got like a banjo.
Mm-hmm. That brings us to Ty Dillinger versus the Drama King, or Aiden English, since people didn't really know there was the Drama King before. Unless you watched like NXT in 2011. Not really that long ago. But that was a good match because it let Aiden English actually show he can wrestle, because people forgot about that because during the Vaudevillains he just got squashed.
Yeah, they got jobbed an awful lot. It was nice to see Aiden English get a chance to showcase a little bit, and Ty Dillinger should have gone over because they're building him up for something in the mid-card, I'm sure. Like, you know, they're getting him into that mix. Ooh, Ty Dillinger, Kevin Owens at this stage.
Tag team. Oh,
no. But yeah, I mean, it was a good match. It wasn't going to steal the show because they weren't going to have enough time to do it. But yeah, it was it was decent.
Which leads us to Baron Corbin versus Sami Zayn, and a kind of lackluster ending, in my opinion. I mean, underdog won, yay! It's good, feel good story. I think they can do something with it, but right now they kind of stopped Corbin's push, unfortunately, just with this funky loss. He looked dominant early, but he lost to an Aluba kick. One, after he did 2 deep sixes, so.
Well, it was one of those things where Sami Zayn was overdue for a win. Baron Corbin was kind of overdue to take a step back so he can charge forward a little bit. And plus, I kind of came to the realization about the same time the rest of Twitter did, is that it really looks good for Corbin to win Money in the Bank, especially now that Sami Zayn brought up Money in the Bank on Talking Smack. So, but yeah, I wanted Corbin to win. I picked Corbin to win, but Zayn going over does make sense because you really need to build Zayn up too. Corbin's already been built up. We've already seen what he can do. Yes, we'd like to see him take that next step forward, but he's going to have to take a step back or two, let a couple of credible faces pass him a little bit so he can charge forward and go through them. And so it means more when he does beat Zayn or get over Zayn at Money in the Bank, or whatever. So, yeah. Corbin. Sorry, man. And that brings us to what I was hoping was going to be the show stealer, which was Shinsuke Nakamura versus Dolph Ziggler. And while it was a solid, fun, entertaining, very good match, had all of the false finishes were nice, and it was definitely a really good match. I just I had higher expectations for it because both of those guys are just great in the ring, and I was a little worried about Ziggler because sometimes if he's kind of in between feuds, he kind of puts in kind of by the numbers performances. This was not one of those, but I still think that the Styles Owens probably stole the show for me up till the ending of that match.
Definitely didn't. Even with the ending, I think it was still a better match than Shinsuke Ziggler. No fault to either of them. It's just you could definitely tell they never wrestled. I mean, they did a little bit, but you could definitely see where their style. And I don't want to use styles because their styles didn't work together as well as they would hope. It was good. They looked like they had synergy, but it was funky at times. He
looked more comfortable with Ziggler than he did with Rude, though. Which I made the comment last night that Itami and Rude had better chemistry than Shinsuke and Rude did, and but Ziggler and Shinsuke had better chemistry than he had with Rude. Other than that, I mean, again, all solid matches. There weren't any bad matches on the card. It didn't. No, I mean, you had a couple of funky finishes, but I mean, there was the one match that we were all worried about was Orton and Mahal, and that ended up being a solid match. And I think one of the reasons why, because there was a rumor out there that they were going to put Owen Styles on last, but I think because Vince probably decided, I don't know, maybe he changed his mind and decided to put the title on Jinder or whatever. I guess they didn't want to end the night on my leg stuck in the table count-out finish either. So
because that's how they end every pay-per-view.
Yeah, lately they've been doing that. But yeah, I mean, it was a solid night. It wasn't one of those, oh my God, do you remember Backlash 2017? It's not going to be one of those nights. But they advanced some stories, and yeah, it was not. I mean, this is one of those ones where it's like I haven't had enough time to let everything sink in. But yeah, my impression was it was fun to watch. I think maybe part of the problem also was that nothing is comparing to what happened the night before. And if you want to talk about NXT real quick, you had 4, if not 5, possible match of the year candidates in all of those. I mean, Roderick Strong and Eric Young, I think that was a really good match. The women's title match was really good.
Even though, it was a triple threat, so there was some weird stuff where, people were dead for the rest of the thing, but...
Yeah.
Every one of those, women's triple threats or fatal four-ways or whatever, at one point, they always beat up Asuka, and then they beat each other up, so it's
Yeah, Tommy Rude was solid, and the ending was great.
I'm just waiting for Okada.
Yeah, and then you get to the two that are kind of tying for the top spot with me, which is the Tyler Bate-Pete Dunne match. I was not expecting them to take the title off of Tyler Bate yet and put it on anybody, but Pete Dunne is a guy that, he deserves a shot to, run with it. And then you had the DIY Authors of Pain ladder match. And yeah, that match was really good. Everybody was like all mad at the ending, and now you know why if you saw it, because then you had Ciampa turn on Gargano, and Gargano, by the way, best facial expressions of the night. I tweeted out that Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss were competing for best facial expressions. Then I saw Johnny Gargano's confused, hurt, and sad face. Yeah, that was great. And then his wife is getting in on it on the Twitter, keeping kayfabe up. That is just some great stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'll put text up on at the end of the video about who won and what the standings are. Big Shez actually won the pay-per-view. Wife of Doom is currently in the lead. And yeah, it was a fun weekend. Once again, the NXT show stole the weekend from the big WWE show, but honestly, WWE they weren't that far behind. They had solid matches with some great spots, but some of the endings kind of took away from it.
I've been Junior.
And I've been Big Papa Grump. We've been the Board of Doom, and I'll catch you next time.
Top presenter out.